Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Leo here, and we are out today doing our part to keep the roads hot. Yeah, pretty much. But I am out today. Thought I would bring you guys by a little spot we haven't been to in quite a while, and I'll just kind of check it out, see what it looks like these days. But yeah, today I am at the Hatfield McCoy hog trial cabin, and this is where Preacher Ants, was his old home place. Of course, this is, it's not the original building. The original building was regular, like a shiplap kind of thing, and but all of from what I'm told, the stonework, the metal, everything that was salvageable anyway was reused into this new log cabin here to kind of mark the spot. And this is the actual spot here where, as far as Hatfield McCoy sites go, there's quite a few of them. There's quite a few, obviously, but this is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, just for the simple reason that more than one event happened here. A lot of the places, there's historic places where this happened, that happened. Of course, like I said, this one had a couple things happen here. The hog trial here, that happened here. One of the McCoys accused one of the Hatfields of stealing a hog. And, turns out, yeah, in court, we didn't win. And the Hatfields won. But also the site of the election fight. And we'll get into that, too, just in a second. Tell you a little bit about them, show you some signs, show you the place, and just kind of show you around a little bit. But like I said, we are in Pike County, Kentucky, out here on the side of the road. That's 1056 and what is that, 319, I think, going up that way. But post office is right here. I'd, make it a little bit easier to find, right? McCoy, Kentucky post office, if you wanted to come and check it out. It's right next door. But anyway, we'll go kind of, just kind of wander around, just show you the place, tell you a little bit about it. Preacher Anderson Hatfield's cabin. Always thought it was a little bit ironic, right? Preacher ants and devil ants. I always thought that was a little bit ironic. But before we get to the cabin, this is the Hatfield McCoy historic porta potty right here. But behind it, behind the Hatfield McCoy historic porta potty, we do have an interesting site right here. This old well is supposedly one of the original wells that was dug here in the area when the families first moved here. It's supposed to be really, really old, and from what I'm told, I don't have evidence. Now, passing the historic porta potty again, we'll head over toward the cabin. Over on that side of the road was an orchard going up through that way, that little valley up in here. But it's definitely a beautiful old cabin. It's designed in the old style anyway, sort of. It's very pretty, very pretty. It's, like I said, it's not totally authentic, but some of it is. Some of it is. Now, like I said, they didn't live in a log cabin. It was, like I said, like an old shiplap. You've seen the old houses, how they have the little slats. But check that porch out. How would you like to just hang out there on a summer evening? Hang out on this porch with absolutely nothing around but just wilderness and beautiful countryside. But anyway, the walkway over here, the handicapped access, was added a couple years ago. And looks like we've had to replace a couple boards already. But the doors, now you'll notice the doors, how short the doors are. And you can see that's like right here. I'm like 6'2", So that would be, what, 5'9"-ish, give or take? Something like that. From what I've read, these old doors, and you'll see like on a lot of these old cabins, and this was a fancy one, concrete. Most people had mud, right? Most people had mud, not concrete. Mom mentioned that. This was a rich person's house. But they had short doors, right? Now that was very common on a lot of these old cabins. The top was added when they did the walkway, the handicapped access. The top was added. But as I was saying, a lot of those old doors, when you see these old cabins, it was perfectly normal. They considered, hang on, we'll let the bike go. You know he's going to crack it. He semi-cracked it. He semi-cracked it. Anyway, the common thinking back in the day, and if you see a lot of these old cabins, you'll see a lot of these old short doors like that. And the common thinking back in the day was that if you had shorter doors, it held in heat better in the wintertime. Of course, we now know these days that it has to do with how long you leave the door open. You know, that kind of factors in as well. But these were added, the top sections were added, like I said, to make the doors a little bit more taller, a little bit more easily accessible, because you did have to duck to go in. Let's see if we can see much. Yeah, lights are on. Look at that. But there's all kinds of old artifacts inside. There's an old bed, old rope bed upstairs. There's an old Victrola right here. It has the horn right here in the record player. Sorry. Antique record player. They were called the kind that had the horn on it. Great big, yeah, one of those over there. Records that thick in there. But look at that old oil lamp, rocking chairs. Like we've done a little bit of work to it. We worked on the stairs a little bit too. Oh, you know we got to, right? I'm terrible at this. I've tried this before. I think it's, you know, you have to practice enough, I think. Yeah, see? I would imagine it takes a little, you know, getting the knack of it. But anyway, yeah. Like the old pine tree right there. Now that puppy is original. That stood here on this very site when all of this stuff happened. When all of it happened. But anyway, now we kind of looked around just a little bit. Kind of showed you the place just a little. The dirt itself is very, very, very original. Now, like I said, it's known for two things. Now, this is the hog trial. In the fall of 1878, Randolph McCoy brought charges against Floyd Hatfield for stealing one of his hogs. We did a video about that. The resulting trial occurred here and was presided over by the local justice of the peace, Preacher Anderson Hatfield, who lived here. Preacher Anderson was Devalance Hatfield's cousin and did not want to appear biased, so he gathered a jury of 6 Hatfields and 6 McCoys to hear the case. When the jury reached its verdict, Selkirk McCoy sided with the 6 Hatfields in favor of Floyd. The McCoys felt betrayed, and open hostilities soon erupted between the Hatfields and McCoy families. Later, Bill Staton, who testified in favor of his brother-in-law, Floyd Hatfield, was killed by 2 of Randall McCoy's nephews while he was hunting. They were tried and acquitted in a trial presided over by Valentine Hatfield, the uncle of Devil Anse. After this, the violence between the families continued, and the resulting conflict eventually escalated into the most famous feud in American history. Now, of course, there's a little bit more to it, you know, than just that. You know, they had animosities going back to the Civil War days, and, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But that one's hog trial. Let's see what's... Now, there comes our buddy back. Now, the election fight. In August 1882, an election was held near Jerry Hatfield's house. A fight broke out between Tolbert McCoy and Elias Hatfield. Tolbert's brothers joined in the fight, as did Ellison Hatfield, who was stabbed and shot. He later died in West Virginia. The McCoy brothers were captured and killed in the pawpaw tree incident. Now, basically what happened, they're having this big election here, right? Now, I don't know how elections were held back in the day where you guys are from, but the way it was done here was kind of unique. You see, all of the politicians, both sides, both parties, they would be giving away free moonshine. Hey, vote for me. Here's some free moonshine. Here's you some free moonshine. They'd be giving it away, right? Just very common. I remember my grandpa saying that if he didn't get a quart of moonshine, he wasn't going to vote. I can remember him saying that when I was little. But anyway, so you're having this big election here, right? Now you've got Hatfields, you've got McCoys here. Let's throw in some liquor. What could possibly go wrong? Wild place, isn't it? It's a wild story. The whole Hatfield-McCoy feud is just crazy stuff. It's like, from what we've, from our research and everything, it's like everything about the feud, if you were to try to imagine what would be the absolute worst possibility, what would be the worst case scenario, that's what happened every time. That's just, yeah. I mean, what are the odds even of something like that? Very strange story, isn't it? Very strange story. A family blood feud. Now, the two fireplaces on the end, by the way, that was very common, kind of helps heat the whole place up as opposed to one end. The upstairs floor, it's 2 stories. The upstairs floor has gaps in the floorboards about so thick so that heat can go up through there, and help keep the whole place warm. Holds enough downstairs, and some of it still goes up. So a lot of it, they were kind of on the ball on it, but you can look right through your floor and see the people downstairs, and they can look up through the floor cracks and see you. So yeah, I kind of get why we stopped doing that. Just a crazy story, isn't it? A crazy story. And a very interesting location, though. Very cool, isn't it? Very interesting. I mean, the whole feud was just a tragic story, but it's very interesting, and I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from it too. There's a lot to be learned from something like this. Question is, will people ever learn it? That's the question. Still haven't to this day, so we'll see what tomorrow holds, right? Anyway, guys, like I said, I just thought I'd bring y'all out here to the hog trial cabin, tell you a little bit about it, show you around a little bit, what things look like these days. Hatfield McCoy Historic Porta Potty. I like that. We should put a sign on that that says that. Look at that tree, though. You could almost guarantee that thing was here during the time in question. It looks so peaceful now. It's just so quiet, but you know what happened here. This place was the scene of, yeah, there was some blood. We'll put it that way. There was some blood here. Of course, they didn't call it Bloody Mingo for nothing now, right? Of course, this is Pike, but Mingo's right across the bridge. Anyway, guys, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Got to keep those roads hot. You know how it is. So, I guess until the next episode, till the next little adventure, this is Leo at the site of the Hatfield McCoy Historic Porta Potty and Preacher Ance's Hog Trial Cabin. We'll see you guys next time. Y'all have a really good day. Leo out.